Hello and welcome to Basement Fodder, the only show whose host just finished a Remington Tough Lips movie marathon. I'm Todd.
I'm Dave.
And we're in the Best Friends Hall of Fame. We made it up.
But we're still in there.
We're still in there.
We're still
Shota members.
Yeah.
Class of 2016, baby.
Look at the ring, bitch.
Remington Tough Lips inducted us himself. We've been watching Sanjay and Craig lately. If you haven't watched Sanjay and Craig, fucking watch it. It's awesome.
He's Sanjay. I'm Craig.
This is so definitely true. Especially if you're a Chris Hardwick fan, because he's awesome on there.
Yeah.
It's been a fun weekend. We had a fun weekend.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, we actually went down to a little indie comics fair at the Ace of Cups, which is kind of a bar, restaurant type place down on North High Street in the campus district.
No.
To visit some friends who were exhibiting down there. And it was a cool little environment. Like, I'd never been to a comic show in a bar before, have you? It's going to be a first for me.
No, it was very, it was very different, because it's like, you get drinks, and it was very, mood-esque lighting, and, it was very, I don't know, it was kind of like one of those CBGB type places where it's, down on campus area.
There's a stage for bands and shit. I did a little research, and apparently, it's kind of a popular place for local bands to play and stuff, and, their bar looked very nice. We didn't drink anything, so we had to drive, but...
it was 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
I wasn't ready
there were people drinking
already,
though.
I started drinking later on that night, but...
Oh, yes, we did drink that night. But that was pretty cool. We had quite a few friends there. Eric Pilecki was there. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we love Eric. And I always feel bad when we go to Eric's booth because we have everything that he's got out right now. And so I always want to buy something from someone who we support, but I would just be buying multiple copies of the same thing. Yeah. Because unfortunately, the Fake Empire is not out in print form yet. Because I'm very much looking forward to grabbing that one when it does come out.
Oh, yeah. That will be in my hands.
From Derby Pop Press, I believe. And you can find that one, I think, on Comixology already, so I might actually have to download it. Yeah. But no, I'm always more about the physical copies, but I do like the downloads sometimes now.
That tactile feeling.
I'm used to it. We get so much PDF copies of stuff for review that I'm kind of used to reading PDFs, and I actually like Comixology though.
Yeah, but I always go to stuff in hand.
Comixology is cool because they have this panel to panel way of reading it, which is very neat, and I like that. It's kind of like a guide. They call it guided view or something like that.
I had a thing on my phone, like an app on my phone, where I could read DC Comics and all those comics, and they would do panel by panel.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
With the slide action, but it was very when it first came out, so it was still kind of wonky.
Yeah. So
you had to watch because sometimes it'll shoot you across.
Comixology's got it perfected, and it's pretty awesome. But I definitely recommend going checking that. But we chatted with Eric for a while. I'm excited because he's doing a story for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is awesome, and he's very excited about it and happy to be doing it.
No, I felt bad because it was they put him right under the heater, the heat exhaust. So it was everybody else is that's brisk, and he's just I'm dying.
I wanted to stand there longer and talk, but I couldn't take the belligerent heat that was just raining down on it.
Losing 5 pounds a minute here.
It's like being in a sauna.
Yeah, it's like SaunaCon.
SaunaCon flashbacks. Yeah. But he was there, and quite a few little indie producers were there. Friends of ours, or friends that we've met before, Bobby and Yvette were there. Yvette makes things. Her very cool little crafty thing that she does. We both got badges. I got a cool Vault badge from Fallout.
And I got a shield one.
And you got a shield one.
Because it works for my my DR stuff.
Yeah. And those are very cool, and it was nice to talk to them. I don't get to see them too often. I think the last time I saw them was at Space last year.
I think it was.
But they're super awesome, cool folks. And you should check out Yvette Makes Things. I think it's on Etsy, and then I believe you can check her out on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the booth that was next to Eric that we bought those patches from, but we both got really cool patches from that. Yours was like a Ned Flanders Danzig or something.
Yeah, it was Flanzig. I loved it. It was so good.
It was fantastic. And mine's a really cool Spock one that says "Live Long and Prosper," which is very super awesome. Mm-hmm. But Mike Watson was there, and we spent a long time talking to Mike. I felt like he was the rock star because he was up on the stage part,
in the nook.
Yeah, and he had big banners and all of his prints up and stuff, and he definitely was he was the rock star of the show.
He wasn't like sitting behind. He was kind of like on a bar stool, like next to it and stuff. Kind of had that like feel to it. It was cool. Yeah, we just shot the shit with him forever. Like I felt bad because I was like, "Are we like eating up your table time?"
Yeah, we were cock blocking the booth for like almost an hour standing there talking. But Mike is the kind of guy that once you get talking to Mike, you just want to keep talking to him because he's a guy who's super knowledgeable about comics. And
you just want to look at that, like, artwork was awesome.
I'm like a big mark for his artwork. Like, I love Hotshot, and I've expressed my extreme love for Hotshot.
I just read it. Like, I just powered all like 6 and 0 issue.
Yeah, the 6 and the 0 issue, and then Mike actually sent me today the PDF copy of issue 7,
which I'll probably be reading.
Yeah,
later
when we're done.
Yeah,
and the first issue of Vigilance, which I read and I have thoughts about, but I'm not going to save that for another show. Actually,
I definitely want to read that too because she seems like an interesting.
Vigilance is, you know what I love about Mike's the way he designs women in his comics is they're very realistically proportioned. Like, they're not like these like super big boobs and super tiny waist. It's like, no, this is like, if it's a big girl, she looks like she's
a brick shit house. She's a brick shit house, not like she's like bodybuilder brick shit house. She's like, like old. When you think about like old 80s wrestlers, like they're brick shit house because they were like just cannonballs, like just beasts of men and stuff. Not like these super overly defined guys now. Yeah, it has a real proportion.
I think he like does a lot of body positivity kind of thing in his comics because like he even has a female superhero that's like plus size superhero and it's not a thing.
Was the one I liked with the
Titan?
bow?
No, that's the one that was based on his wife.
Yeah, I like the one with the bow.
Yeah,
she looked cool.
She
seemed like she was
super cool enough to give us some lovely prints, which I posted pictures of already. But he has this new Disney Princess Lantern mashup series, and I love these. These are awesome. He told us that him and Victor actually worked out which princess would have which lantern, because what he told me before is that he originally had come up with a bunch of them, and then he showed him Victor, and he was like, "No, these don't work. No, they have to be these ones for this thing." I know lanterns. Like,
I mean, hey, I would have done the same thing. Like, I feel pretty like having looked at all of them. I think they're pretty much all on point.
And you picked the Green Lantern, which is Tiana from the Frog Prince, I think. Yeah, and she looks very, very cool.
I love the whole design of her costume.
Yes, this thing here, I love this. That's the way that. That's the way that. Shit, what's his name? Damn, he's the superhero analog in Hotshot.
Justice?
Yeah, Justice. Yeah. That's the way Justice costume is
only because I just read it.
redesigned in the Vigilance. Like, he has that kind of thing.
Which I think is cool.
Yeah,
but she also has the hood.
Yeah,
which I really liked, and the gloves. I think, like, for me, that was really really good stuff.
Mike has a real talent for drawing women too. Like, his female forms are gorgeous.
I love the Ariel one.
Yes, the Ariel one is. I almost got that one because it's the Orange Lantern, but I had to get the Mulan because it's Red Lantern and it's just so epic.
You are a Red Lantern,
and I am a natural red, and she looks so badass.
She does.
She's just like, I love that her costume is very like feudal and like samurai inspired and shit, and like her face is cracking and the rage is coming out. But the Ariel Orange Lantern was.
If we could have got like a third one, that would have been the one.
I almost just bought it. I probably will next time.
I will buy it the next time.
It's purely, that's the best Lantern connection of all of them, I think. Because Ariel is a perfect Orange Lantern. Like, she wants so much to be part of the other world. Like, it's that avarice.
And she collects all that
stuff. Oh, like, she is the Larfaleeze of the sea.
Under the sea, it's all mine.
Yeah. Then he gave us the Hotshot publication, the new Hotshot cover for the reprint, which is very awesome. It's a great little Hotshot cover. And
looks really good.
Yeah, like, nobody can draw Hotshot like Michael can.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, and Legacy Rising publications all over it, and that's really cool. If you listen to the episode that I did with Michael for the Todd Files, you can find out about like what happened with going from independently publishing the books himself under his own print freestyle comics to like switching to Legacy Rising, which is an interesting story. Michael and his group of guys have been podcasting from the comic book shop that's inside the convention center for years now. And Legacy Rising is actually something that was started by the guy who owns the comic book shop.
Yeah.
He wanted his own imprint. And he kind of, talked Michael into bringing Hotshot into that world and, like, doing, basically creating a new world.
Yeah.
This is what's so cool about what Michael's doing and, like, teaming with other companies. Like, Hotshot number 7 introduces Dinah Girl, who's an independent comic character from another company, coming in and doing a crossover, which is so cool to see, like, indie comics doing crossovers and, like, making expansive worlds, not just like, oh, this comic and this comic, but he's, like, working together.
Yeah.
And it's cool, like, to build a world like that, because a lot of independent companies don't really do that. Like, they have their characters and they're sort of standalone, but, like, to build this big expansive world is a really, really cool thing.
And it's cool too because it's not just like some random, like, far off world and stuff like that. It's like it's in our backyard.
Yeah.
This is like Hotshot is here.
Like those of us who are in Ohio and the Columbus area and stuff, like, these are things we recognize.
Yeah.
Like, there's buildings you recognize in there.
Like there was the one that where he was fighting, and in the background I see where it says Broad Street and stuff, and I was like, oh man, Broad Street. Yeah,
that's a cool little like Easter egg sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times superheroes are based in cities that don't exist, or they're based in big places like New York or LA or something like that, and it's cool to see, like, one that's based out of Ohio like that.
Yeah.
And especially Columbus, because I've lived here my whole life, like, in this area, and so it's kind of an awesome thing for that. And Hotshot is such a cool character, and, like, it is semi-autobiographical. Like, a lot of it is based on Michael's experiences when he was in college, and that's a really cool, like, aspect of the relationship stuff is very strong in it.
Man, I feel with you about that, like, art teacher dickbag. That guy could suck one.
I like a lot of the stuff that he does with the interplay between him, between Michael and Carla, because, like, their relationship is complicated, and, like, the Zero issue is a really great example of that. Like,
it is.
Mike did this very bold thing where they did a Zero issue that is no dialogue whatsoever, no captions, no nothing. It's just panels.
Yeah.
And it's like a day in the life of, like, what she experiences from the other side of, like, being the girlfriend of someone and you don't know they're a superhero.
Okay, so, like, what was your thoughts on that, though? Like the whole thing. Do you tell? Do you not tell? Like,
it's the age old question with superheroes. It's like,
it's superhero 101.
Yeah.
Your secret identity. Do you I know there's always that, like, oh, you didn't trust me or this and that and stuff, and it's like, okay, but do you? Like, the ramifications of letting... Now, this is one thing I know sometimes we have a little bit issues with, like, the shows and stuff like that. Yeah. It seems like...
They're like, oh, just tell them who I am. I'm like, yeah, stop telling people.
It's like, it's cool now to have, like, a team and stuff like that, but it's like, just more and more people are learning who you are. I'm like, oh, why?
And Barry just told the mailman that he's the Flash. Like, I'm fucking like, stop fucking telling people you're the Flash.
Yeah, like, right across the world.
Stop telling
my
people
third
you're
cousin.
Arrow,
yeah, like, oh my God, why?
It's like, some people, I feel like it depends on what kind of hero you're deciding to be. If you're one of those heroes, it's like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, if you're like, Iron Man or something, where you're like, I don't care if the world knows who I am. Like, I'm basically untouchable. What the fuck ever.
With the other hero in this one, Vigilance and stuff like that.
She doesn't really have a secret life.
Yeah, she is that, like, this is my life. I don't have a alter ego. I just am Vigilance, at least from what I got from the Hotshot stuff.
Like, we won't get to do it next weekend because it's all going to be Lexington stuff, but, like, I want to actually review Vigilance number 1 because I think both of us will have some stuff to say about it, because Vigilance is a fascinating character. Yeah. But, it is that question. It's like, do you want to be that public hero, or do you want to be like Spider-Man? And, like, I'm not a Spider-Man fan at all, but I give Spider-Man credit for not telling every motherfucker in the world who he is, because he's very protected.
How long was it before, like, it told MJ and stuff like that? It
not only that, but, like, even other superheroes, like, a lot of superheroes, like, they're, like, comfortable enough to tell the other heroes who they are and shit, and Peter's never done that, really. He's the guy who's, like, at the Avengers mansion with his mask pulled half up eating a sandwich, like, he ain't gonna fucking tell you who he is.
He's like,
he's not even gonna tell Cap who he is. Like, he didn't even tell Cap who he is, I don't think, until Civil War.
Yeah, I think it was around there or way later.
Like, he was part of the Fantastic Four for a while, and he didn't tell them who he was. Like, he doesn't do that.
We just watched that episode because they put the Young Justice up on Netflix, like season 2 and all that stuff. There was the episode where they were doing all the voting, and it got brought up about Captain Marvel, Billy, and stuff, and, like, Wonder Woman, which, if I was there, I would have told Wonder Woman she's a giant hellish bitch for this, but she was like, oh, we need to bring up whether or not he needs to be on the team now because he's a 10-year-old boy and stuff, and it's like, how does that change anything? Like, they're like, well, you didn't tell us. And it's like,
would you? Why would you?
I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Why do I need to tell you my alter ego?
Yeah, why am I required to tell you who I am to function as part of this team? It is not part of who I am in my personal life has nothing to do with this team whatsoever.
Yeah.
You think Batman's out there telling every motherfucker who he is? Like,
and then Bruce, and Batman was like, looks at her and he's like, I knew, and she's like, of course you did and stuff. But it was like, this is like one of the things I will give him credit for. Even if he knows, he ain't going to tell nobody. He'll keep it in his own head, but he knows just as well the importance of keeping an identity.
And even Superman has like the level of respect where he's like, I can look under masks, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell who anybody is, basically. Mm-hmm. I can look at your costume. I can find out. Like, he is that. He's like, I don't do that because it's personal. He's like, I understand I have my own fucking secret identity and shit.
Wonder Woman is very much that type of character. For a good long time, there was no alter ego. It was very much Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it is that thing where I can honestly safely say for me, I probably would have the alter ego. Mm-hmm. I probably would keep it secret and stuff. And it's just one of those things, If
you're like Wonder Woman and you don't have that like aspect where you have like the husband and kids at home or some shit like that, or like, you're an Amazon warrior.
Like, this is what you've been
this
since
is all you are.
You look at Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, they don't need a secret identity.
This is them. This was their life.
But when you look at like Barry and Bruce and fucking Hal and all those guys like that, and especially Spider-Man, because like Spider-Man, the instant someone finds out who he is, they die.
It's a death sentence.
It's almost a death sentence. Like it's very extremely dangerous, especially with like when you have like the rogues gallery like Spider-Man has, or like the rogues gallery like Flash has, and Batman. They find out who you are, they're gunning for anyone close to you.
Oh, yeah.
What's the thing that happens every time somebody finds out that Clark is Superman? Instantly, they try to kill Lois.
Yeah.
Instantly. Because it's like, or his parents or something. Yeah. It's like, that's what these bad guys do. They don't have that moral scope that says, like, don't fuck with your family or whatever. Like, it's not how it works. Some of them do.
That's what they look for.
But yeah, like, if you're in the case of Captain Marvel, that's the thing. It's like, why would you tell them? You're a 10-year-old boy, like in your other existence. Like, you think they're gonna let you on the team necessarily? If you're like, hey, I'm a 10-year-old boy when I'm not Captain Marvel, fuck that shit. I would never tell anybody that shit.
They look at you different. They don't see you anymore. They won't respect you the same way. The hero. They like see you as, and it's like, but you realize, like, for all intents and purposes, he's a different person. Like,
they actually dealt with this very interestingly in Justice Society. Mm-hmm. Because Stargirl finds out who Captain Marvel is, and Billy is like a teenager, and they're about the same age, and they kind of fall for each other a little. But then when he's Captain Marvel, it becomes creepy.
Yeah.
Because like, people around the Brownstone are noticing Stargirl and Captain Marvel getting kind of chatty there. Like, he's a grown man, she's like 16. They're like, what the fuck? But it's totally a thing, not a thing, because, realistically, if you know who he is, they're both the same age,
Yeah.
But it becomes like people are fucking like wildcats, like pulling him aside, like, hey, motherfucker, why are you trying to hit on this 16-year-old girl? And he's like, So that becomes a thing. It's like, that is a weird thing. It's like, then you have that decision. Do you tell everybody, who you are and risk losing the respect that you have?
Well, there's also been different iterations with him. Mm-hmm. Where there was different ones, like there was the 4-part mini graphic novel series where it was like Captain Marvel and the Secret Society of Evil or something like that. It was a 4-part thing where it was like when he became Captain Marvel, he wasn't Billy.
Yeah,
like Captain Marvel was a completely alternate personality, was a completely alternate thing. Like, he had Billy's memories and stuff like that, but like it was he was a fully grown adult and everything like that. That was the more like golden-y age kind of like classic style. But now they've done the more where it's like, well, he has the wisdom of Solomon and all that, like all that stuff.
It's always a tricky aspect about like telling who do you tell and why, what are your reasoning for not telling, and then it's you always risk that thing about the person that you like, especially it's a relationship thing, like if the person that you love finds out, like when Iris found out on Flash, or like when Lois finds out in the comics about Superman and shit. It's like it actually worked. It worked better in Superman in a way because they're like very much adults, and it's like okay, and then she's kind of instantly understands. And I think that some people are like, I don't think that's realistic. And I'm like, it's completely realistic because she's extremely intelligent, woman of the world, has been in danger many times just from her association with Superman.
Yeah.
Let alone, like, a relationship with his alter ego. Like, I think that because of that, she ends up being more understanding than a lot of other significant others end up being in comics. Like, some of them react well, some of them react very poorly.
And there's also no saying, like, how they're going to look at you after that and stuff. Yeah. And then there's also no saying for, like, common sense. I've seen situations, especially on the shows, where it's like, Lois was guilty of this. I've seen, like, Iris do this. But, like, they'll put themselves in unnecessary danger.
Knowing that they're going to get saved.
Knowing that. And it's like...
Especially Lois. Lois is the fucking champion of that.
Yeah, she's...
Like, I'm going to go out in this, like, every situation I could possibly get my fucking self killed because I know Superman's on my, at my nipples at all times.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
And it's like...
I'd be like, listen, lady, stop trying to fucking kill yourself. I got shit to do.
And that's the other thing. It works... as well as for traps, because people know this about her, so they'll purposely set her up for this, knowing that she'll come do it because Superman.
Yeah, how many times has she been kidnapped by a bad guy and being like, I don't understand?
I'm like, you are the Princess Peach of the DC universe. Like, Jesus criminy.
So fucking true. It's like, my God, dude, you're gonna fucking get kidnapped by some crazy person every fucking week, and that's what it kind of turns into. Like, I think I remember on Lois and Clark they were talking about like they made a joke about like the insurance won't cover her for the planet because she fucking is constantly about to die.
Yeah. And it is one of those things. Like, I wouldn't.
No, it was they were talking about adopting because they didn't think they could have kids.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, we couldn't possibly approve you for this because you're about to die every fucking week by some crazy supervillain. Like, that's not an environment to bring a child into.
God no. God no. Oof, no.
So like that's the reality of those things. Plus, here's the thing that doesn't come up often, but like relationships aren't forever, man. Like,
scorned lovers are great villain fodder.
And that's happened with like Hal and Carol Ferris and shit. Like, Carol Ferris has been taken advantage of and like turned into Star Sapphire and shit, because of that. I'm like, you never know if like fucking a relationship's gonna work out or whatever. You're like, oh, I told you I'm fucking Mega Man or something, and then a month later, I accidentally put my dick in somebody and you fucking break up with me. Then you're gonna tell the world like on fucking TMZ like this motherfucker's Mega Man. Like,
it is. It's very one of those things, but it's also like it is a safety factor. It's like if and then somehow something. It's a liability to both of us. It's not a factor of trust. It's a safety thing. It's like the less you know, the less that you can either hurt you or hurt me.
This annoyed the shit out of me on Supergirl. Like, on Supergirl, fucking Jimmy and Lucy were having like issues and shit, and because he was spending too much time with Supergirl or whatever.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's solution to this was like, okay, are you gonna tell her who you are? I gotta tell her who you are. And I'm like, why? That's just your fucking girlfriend, man. First of all, her father is the fucking general who wants to eliminate Supergirl essentially.
And hates Superman.
Yeah.
Like,
you're a fucking you're a former military person. You're a lawyer. You work for Cat Grant, who's like jonesing to fucking know who Supergirl is and shit. And your fucking sister is like a reporter. And like, they don't say in this universe if Lois knows who Superman is or not. So fucking, why the fuck would you tell this bitch?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's assumed it is, but
they don't ever say it.
Yeah, they don't ever say it. I mean, that's.
But I'm like, Jimmy, you of all people should know that it's a very small circle of motherfuckers that need to know this information. And like, I'm like, that's if I were her, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? Why is it like I have to give up my fucking secret identity to protect your bullshit relationship? Fuck you, man. You figure that shit out. That's not my problem.
Yeah, that's like...
I'm your friend, but I'm not going to compromise the security of everyone around us just so your girlfriend isn't pissed at you?
Yeah, so you're
fuck
not the doghouse. Yeah.
Fuck it. And it's not... And with that relationship's doomed any fucking way because Jimmy's in love with her.
Yeah. But back to Hotshot.
Yeah.
But I like the back and forth of how they went with it. And I know, like you had told me, there's a very like dynamic. One people are on this side of the fence, the other people. I'm definitely like.
He's not a Carla fan.
I I get the being mad and everything like that. I understand, but the like. To me, this would have been the perfect time. Like, in my mind, there was some dialogue earlier where she was like, "Oh, it's all about you. It's all about you. Blah 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 blah." You know, and he's like, "You're dumping me. Of course, it's like it was about me and stuff." Well, when she brings this back up, I'll be like, "Why didn't you trust me? Why didn't you do this?" They'd be like, "Oh, is it all about you? Like, why is it all about you now?" Like. You know?
Yeah, it's just like there's so much to consider when you decide who you're gonna fucking give that information to. It's very, very hard to make that decision, and it has to be a decision that you think about. Like, Barry is the king of this shit on Flash. Like, too many motherfuckers know who the Flash is. Way too many motherfuckers. And then what kills me about it is, like, sometimes he's totally oblivious about, like, who the fuck knows who he is or not. Because the thing happens when, like, Diggle and his wife are there and
crossover.
Shit. Yeah, and Barry, like, all zooms in there and takes his fucking mask off and shit, and she's like,
What?
And he's like, I just assumed that you knew. And I'm like, what are you, fucking retarded?
He's like, I separate work and, like, after work stuff, son. Like... What the what? Like,
because Diggle ain't like that. Like,
yeah, this is the only drawback to the stuff with the shows and the team stuff is like it becomes
too many motherfuckers know who you are.
Too many motherfuckers know who you are. You know, and it's like okay,
but
like there are people that you should tell and want to tell, but you won't. But then you'll just zoom into a room with your mask off, eating some sushi and shit, and like, oh, well, I guess that person knows now. I'd have been like, if I was one of those people that wanted to find out, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, oh, okay.
And that happens too, because then not only does it factor like, you didn't tell me, it's who else knows is the problem. Because that's the thing with Hotshot too, is like his ex and his friend know, like, you know, because they're super close and shit. Yeah. And so finding out that she knows is even more of a punch in the fucking, you know.
Oh yeah, she's like, and even the girl's like, why did you tell her that I knew she hates me?
Why the fuck would you tell her that?
Why would you tell? And I'm like, well, she said be honest. So I mean, but you weren't getting out of the doghouse for that one.
But the scenes that they do that Michael drew and that Victor wrote in there, like this is. You can't talk about Hotshot without talking about Victor too, because Victor, of course, you know, I'm a mark for Victor too.
Oh yeah, dude.
And Victor has this ability to write dialogue that is so real,
like very natural,
natural, and like it completely
has that flow back and forth. I like to feel like Victor is like sitting there, like, all right, I'm gonna write this dialogue from the woman's perspective, coming back, and then he's just got like a good female friend there with him, like, all right. Does this sound like something?
If this were you,
if you were you, is this something you would say, or am I out of like the whack here with this?
Yeah,
but it is like I mean, after I got powered through. Normally, I'm very not.
Yeah, I'll read it at some point.
Yeah, I'll read it at some point and stuff. Like I, would read an issue or two or something like that, unless it really like clicks. And I powered through 7. And it wasn't like powering through. I enjoyed it. I think.
Totally.
I think. They've got a good handle on it. Yeah, it's really easy. I think they got a good handle on both realistic body types and realistic dialogue.
Character interactions
and stuff, and that makes it really good as far as like it's a real place with real people, real body types that speak real stuff.
Yes.
And they look real.
That's the thing. Like, if you guys go back to the episode I did with Mike on the Talk Files, like he talks about his first interaction at a con, like showing his portfolio to someone from Marvel. And I won't actually spoil the story because you should go listen to it. But it was a very shitty thing that was said to him.
Just know that Dave's hand would have shook and then slapped the shit out of this person. Because my God.
But like when often in comics, this is the thing. Like characters of different races and ethnicities, like they don't often look like they're done as realistically as they can be.
Yeah.
Like often, black characters don't, they look like a white guy that's painted brown. Like,
it's
or like Asian characters really don't look all that much like, they should. And that's a talent that Michael has, is like he has the ability to draw people of different races and ethnicities looking very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that. And like the other thing about Hotshot that's like a thing that I've praised many times is like the colors are dynamic.
Oh, the colors are so good.
The inking and the lines is beautiful. Like it doesn't look like an independent book.
Yeah.
Like it's high color, high intensity, like vibrant and dynamic, and it doesn't look like
scenes are very like
you wouldn't
explosive.
Necessarily guess that this was a book that was not printed by a big company.
Yeah.
You know, because it's very dynamic. It's very the colors are gorgeous. Like it is a very professional book. Yeah. Not to say that a lot of the other independent books that we read aren't professional, but like there's just something about it. It has that big
pop. It's got that pop factor.
It has that big superhero feel to it.
Like
that's why like I would Victor and Michael had talked about like the Dare to Compare thing, where they talk about like if you like this, I would put this book, in comparison with these other books from big companies, and like look at these three, and then to give us criticism if you want to, obviously, and we'll take it. But like I think that this is on par with these things.
I think this book stacks well against when you put like when you say Spider-Man. I think it stacks really well when you put it with like Miles Morales, like Spider-Man, as far as like the look I've seen of that new and like how it pops. It's very much that, or like Static Shock.
Invincible is one that Michael always talks about.
Yeah,
like he's a huge Invincible fan.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, and I would easily compare this book with those as far as the level of quality and the dynamic, artistic value that's in there. I couldn't say enough about it. We didn't necessarily mean for this to be like the Hotshot show, but it's like once you start talking about a really good book, it kind of happens.
And I just read it, so I'm like, it's fresh. It's fresh in my mind and stuff. I was already thinking of like, because I know you were talking about like they're doing that shared universe and stuff like that. I was like, if I was a character in this universe, what would I look
David
like?
David and been sitting here like creating characters of ourselves.
I did. As soon as I got done, I was like, if you were in this world, like you, what would your powers be? What would you look like?
Yeah.
And we were doing that because we love doing that. It's fun. But it was very much, it's definitely a world that I would be like, it would be awesome to see,
and that's not a thing that happens often with us. Like, it's only happened a few times. Like,
have we ever wanted to make characters to be in that world?
We talked about having DC characters, before, but that's kind of the thing. But like, independent-wise, that's only happened like one other time that I can think of. Because like, we were talking about like characters that we have that would fit into like the Mercy Sparks and like Mr. Ree kind of universe. Yeah. And I think this is the only other time independently that we've thought about being in the universe. But like instantaneously, when you read Hotshot, you're like, I want to be in this world.
Yeah,
and I think it's part of that. They, like, because it's based here, it's like you get that mentality. Like this could be something I could be in, and it's like be fun to be a character in that universe.
Yeah, just like especially too because like with the way I've seen him draw, like because if you've ever met me and stuff, I've got a lot of piercing.
Yeah.
Very like.
And he's not afraid to draw shit like that.
No, and like it's actually some of the few comics that I've seen that are actually done really well. Like we don't, look shitty in a comic book. We look really, cool.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like, I would love to see a character of myself in this.
Yeah, Michael's not afraid to draw like people in their realistic body shapes. Like one of his heroes, Titan, is a plus size woman. And like that kind of gives a guy like me like a hope that I could be a character in this universe because I'm obviously a large fat guy.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't have to completely change how I am physically to be part of a hero in this world. Like I could be a big bulky guy like I am and still be a hero in this world.
Definitely.
Or you could be a guy with piercings and tattoos and a big giant beard and shit and still be that. And like that's what's so fucking cool about it.
Definitely, I'm definitely excited to read more of it. I'm excited to see more of that universe. I already picked out a character like when I just saw one that I liked that I thought looked really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to like I've never got to talk to Michael, but it was cool to talk to him at the show and really kind of like we were just talking about like The Walking Dead and all kinds of like comics and shooting the shit.
Hopefully, he's been here to do the Todd Files before, but we invited him to come and do just the regular show with us, like just to come shoot the shit and kind of talk about random stuff because he's just a guy that's fun to talk to. He's like him, Victor, Dirk. They're all those guys that are just like a guy that you want to have a conversation with.
Yeah,
and Eric is that way too.
Yeah,
but yeah. So that was really cool. The guy that was sitting next to Michael, William Tooker, Tooker, I'm not sure how to say it. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. But I bought a comic from him, and so did you.
Yep.
I bought one called Crush McNulty, which I will probably review at some point because I enjoyed the shit out of it. I was just like, he was reading Hotshot, and I was sitting here reading Crush McNulty, and I was like, he could attest to this. I was like hardcore chuckling all the way through it and like enjoying it very much. It's kind of like a Space Ace, Zap Brannigan-y kind of character, and those are ones that hugely sort of appeal to me, and I was enjoying it. Like I was sitting here just chuckling my ass off reading it. And what was the one that you got?
Never Send a Monster.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
It's
I like
kind of
it.
like a smaller size graphic novel.
Yeah, it also has some very like Cthulhu elements, very some Vincent Price, very like dapper suits and like top hats, very creeper. I don't know. I haven't got to read it yet. I'm going to start reading it, but it looks really good. I like the colors in it too. The colors are very vibrant. In it.
One of the things I was digging about Crush McNulty is he's very much that like. Yeah, he's very much that Zach Brannigan-y kind of guy, and he's got his sidekick Bob, and Bob will say things, and like Crush will be like, "Yes, the exact opposite of what you said. That's exactly what we should be doing, Bob. Good suggestion." He's like, "Are you even listening to me?"
Nope.
And then Bob is constantly getting killed and reconstituted because it's like they have this ability to reconstitute you when you die. And he's been killed like 14 times and reconstituted, and Crush has never been killed. Like Bob is basically like the cannon fodder, essentially. Yeah.
Good job, Bob. Way to save my life.
Yeah, he's very like, you know. It's hilarious, and it's very like pop culture relevant and like nerdy and stuff.
Yeah.
They make fun of like the backup story in the issue. The second story is about like. It's kind of making fun of the whole like uproar over Affleck being cast as Batman. It's like a whole like Nerdulon or something of that nature, where it's like a planet full of geeks and everything's like pop culture-y and shit. It's super entertaining and I enjoyed it. The art is done by Kevin Gentlecore, I think is how you pronounce that. Who's the art done on the one that you've got? Same
also,
guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like his style. It's very like a kind of a cartoony style.
Yep. I definitely am digging.
And I enjoy talking to him. He was a nice guy as well.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that he did was when I bought the comic, I had a $20 bill, and the comic was $5, and he had to go break it at the bar. And when he came back, he was drinking a large beer. This is how you broke that. It wouldn't bought a beer with the $20. Like.
Sounds good to me. That's how
I approve of this wholeheartedly. But it was a cool little show and a cool experience, and like it's always awesome to hang out with creators that we love and all that.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get Michael to come and be on the show here pretty soon.
I definitely look forward to it.
Then we also went to World's Greatest Comics in Westerville was having their anniversary sale.
And I had to get Power Ranger comics, damn it.
Yeah, and we actually stopped at Comic Town as well too, and they were doing like a remodel on their stuff, but they were still open.
Yeah.
And I have to say this, like I hope this doesn't sound insulting or anything, but I used to not like going to Comic Town for a long time because there were certain guys that worked in there that were very like the comic book guy on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Very like
what are you doing in my comic shop?
Elitist comic book fan jackasses.
Yeah.
And but then this time when we were in there, this was not the experience I had at all.
Super,
like they were
like
attentive, accommodating. They were giving you like extra swag and stuff. Like very, very cool. So huge ups to those guys, like for being so cool. We came in there. But World's Greatest Comics, I think I ended up getting like a stack of kind of quarter comic back issues. Yep. That like it was like $6 for $1, which was really cool. I think I ended up with like 12, and you ended up with a Croc figure,
big like almost like 12-inch Croc figure from the
Arkham Asylum games.
Yep.
Or
was not the first one? It was more like the Arkham like third one or something like that, where he's more the where he's got like the pinstripe pants and the taped up fists and stuff like that. But it was a damn good price I got for that.
Yeah, it's a good little shop. We've been there a few times. I know Sean Forney's done signings there and stuff. It's a nice little shop to go into, like if you're on that side of town.
Here's the funny thing: the little guy that kept coming out and back and forth, that was the guy I watched the booth for. At the Jim and Dan thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't think he recognized me, but when he came out, I was like, that's the guy I watched the booth for. He was busy, and I know he was like trying to get to his lunch hour, so I wasn't trying to be like, hey, remember me?
So that was fun, and then we came home and got drunk.
Yep.
Well, actually, we came home and I went out to dinner, and you got drunk, and then I came in and started getting drunk too.
Yeah. Yep.
What was that stuff you were drinking? Like when I was grocery shopping, I saw this stuff on sale, and I told you about it.
It's called UV Blue Raspberry Bombsicle.
Yes, and what is it made of? Grab the bottle and give a rundown of the ingredients on it.
Well, it's 12.5% alcohol, 25 proof. It's UV raspberry flavored vodka lemonade. Oh, that's why it was tearing my stomach up. Yes. It was lemonade with other natural flavors, certified color added.
Yes, it was quite strong.
Mm-hmm. It's quite potent.
I took a couple drinks of it, and it was quite potent. I was drinking Strongbow, which is my favorite apple hard cider. Damn. And I was also drinking Henry's hard orange soda, which I I love this
These
stuff.
things are good, yeah.
4.2% alcohol and made with pure cane sugar. And it's like, it's not that, like, when you drink a, Sunkist or something, it's not that kind of orange soda where it's, like, super syrupy and, like, cloyingly sweet.
Yeah.
This is, like, if you ever had, like, there's this awesome place called Piata where they have Italian street food and they have Italian sodas there. And, like, the Italian orange soda is more like a more citrusy, more effervescent sort of thing. And that's what these are.
Yeah.
But with hooch,
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend these,
Nice.
definitely. And, of course, I always recommend Strongbow because it is the deliciousest of the delicious.
It is good.
So that was a good, fun, drinky time. And, of course, the basement babe was down with us and hanging out. And then we all ended up dead asleep.
Yep, we all boozed until we passed out.
Basically.
It was good times.
But that was a lot of fun. But there's been some interesting news this week, too, on the video game front.
Oh, yeah. Neither of it is really good news necessarily.
I think one of them is like horrific news and the other one's like sad news.
Yeah, okay, so sad news first is unfortunately for fans of the Fable games, I know back in 2013 they had kind of dropped that they were going to be making a Fable like Legends, which was supposed to be a four-player co-op game. Well, Microsoft canceled that. And not only did they cancel that, but it seems like Microsoft is basically going to be shutting down Lionhead Studios, which really sucks because
it's kind of a tragedy in a way. Because if you're a fan of Fable, and both of us are, like, it's just such a rich world and so cool and like so involved. And the first game was such a like departure from video games.
And I told you this was interesting for me because like Fable is what got me to start playing an Xbox to begin with. Like I was a hardcore Sony PlayStation person. Like Nintendo and PlayStation was it. I had no aspirations to ever play an Xbox. And then one night I was over at my friend's house and they had an Xbox and Fable had just come out and they were playing it and I was watching them play it and I was like, this seems really cool. And they're like, do you want to play it? And I tried it out and I fell instantly in love and literally saved up my next 2 paychecks to go buy a brand new Xbox and that game and played it till like I was drooling.
Remember at the time the first one came out, I wasn't playing those sort of games then. Like that was kind of the period where I was still basically playing like wrestling games and football games and stuff and I really hadn't awakened as a gamer. Because I just didn't think I had the skill. But then when Dragon Age happened, like Dragon Age and Mass Effect were the 2 games that kind of made me become a better gamer.
Yeah.
And then once I finished Dragon Age, it was right around the time that Fable 2 came out. And I got Fable 2 and fell completely in love with it. And I ended up playing it in 3 before I ever actually played the first one. And then I ended up downloading the first one, the Lost Chapters version. And just absolutely loving it too. And so like it is a world that I do love. But then what happened is after the third game, Microsoft had this brilliant, quote unquote, brilliant idea to make the next Fable game a Kinect game. Journeys. And 0 people played this game. Like I never met anybody who's played this game.
It's because like I don't like
the Kinect and its stupid ass.
It was one of those you had to have a Kinect to play it. Like you couldn't play it if you didn't have a Kinect. And we've seen what happens with the Kinect-only games. Yeah. Most of that line pretty much went to shit.
Yeah, because nobody gave a fuck.
Because, well, that and the Kinects are pretty, like, they're spotty at best. Yeah. Any of those motion sensor things are pretty meh. I mean,
I feel like motion sensor games are nothing but, like, a party game thing.
Yeah.
It's like the
Mario
Wii.
Party,
yeah, it's like the Wii.
Sports.
Like, the Wii, to me, is like a party game thing. Like, you're drinking with your friends and you want to play Wii Baseball or some dumb shit like that. It's like, it doesn't qualify as a real video game to me. Like, I've played very few games on that have any of like the Wii or the Kinect or anything like that that are actually a fucking game.
Yeah.
Like that would qualify to me as a full rich game experience. Like it seems like it precludes
even with
that.
PlayStation. I played. They had the their Move or whatever it was, the weird sensor thing. And I played the fighting game they had where you had like swords and shields and stuff. And the thing is like having done like SCA and LARPing and stuff. The motions are never as responsive as they should be. So it's like I get frustrated with those games because it's like I'll do the motion that you're supposed to do and it like won't read it. Yeah. But then yet somebody will come here and do this little wrist flick thing and it's like, that's the right motion.
It is the game of wrist flick.
Yeah. Like, and that's like I learned how to beat the shit out of all my friends at boxing and they're like sitting here doing the full like punches and stuff and I just sit here and keep my hands like literally my forearms are resting right on my hips and I literally don't move my arms. It's just all wrist motion.
Yeah,
and I can like
baseball is the same thing. Like I'll sit there and hammer at Wii baseball, just like wrist flick, wrist flick, wrist flick. That's the whole fucking game.
Bowling, it's literally
and
twist.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's just very agitating.
Like it's fun to play in like a party environment when you're hanging out with your friends and shit. But like as far as a depthful gaming experience, no.
And I was so looking forward to the next Fable game, and then that came out.
And I was like, I have no fucks about this.
Yeah, I had no want to play it, and it pretty much killed the series. Then there was talk of the next one coming out, and it just...
And it looked really fun. It looked like a cool 4-player, like, co-op kind of hack and slash cool experience.
And
but it sat, like, it developed for, almost 4 years and then nothing. And then Microsoft kind of put the kibosh on everything. So it is, like, hopefully Fable won't die as a franchise. Like, they're saying that the Fable is not dead necessarily, like the studio is dead, but Fable may not be.
Somebody else might.
I have zero confidence in anyone else doing this.
This was Lionheart's baby. This was their thing. Like, unless you get the, pretty much a good chunk of the team that made it, I really am like, ugh. It's not going to be the same thing. Yeah, it would be like fucking them selling off Mass Effect to Midway or something, like some dumb shit like that. Like anyone doing Mass Effect or Dragon Age that's not BioWare, I have zero interest in playing it because this is their thing. And even like I'm scared about the future of Dragon Age, and this leads into the next thing. It's not even just that; it's because the people that are the most responsible for the lore are gone. Yeah, like David Gator is gone. Fucking the other guy is gone too. Yeah. And I'm like, God, what they're like, fucking BioWare's having like a mass exodus right now, and it scares me. It's very sketchy. Mass Effect and Dragon Age are two franchises that mean a lot to me. Yeah. Especially Dragon Age. Dragon Age is like my franchise. It is the one that means the most. Like, I have the most emotional connection, the most resonance to it. I love every aspect of it. And I'm scared to death especially with this news that just came out about what they're talking about possibly doing. Yeah. So I was reading an article where they're talking about a possible next Dragon Age game, and right now, as for all the people that are huge into like anime or Japanese style, games and stuff, Fire Emblem is a really popular game. Which I've never heard of this game before. Yeah, and I mean, when I read the article, it explained why you probably wouldn't have heard about it. Yeah. Is because up until here recently, nothing of it was ever exported to the U.S. Yeah. It was strictly a Japanese game because Nintendo didn't feel very confident with its ability to be a fantasy tactics game in the Western market. The second I hear that term tactics, like all of my fucks just start hemorrhaging away. Yeah. So right now, a thought that's up in the air, and like Mark Dara posted a thing on his Twitter doing a poll where talking about how people would feel about a Fire Emblem-esque Dragon Age game. Very tactics, like game where it's tactics and like that character-to-character building that Fire Emblem is known for. There's a lot of like heavy character-to-character stuff, but the tactics stuff comes into play in a wide military, big battles-esque thing, which I know the person who wrote the article was like, sometimes that happens in Dragon Age, but you never feel like it because it's very like moment to moment. And I get what they're saying, but at the same time, I feel you lose so much of the character that you've created when you basically zoom out into the giant world and stuff like that. Like for me, I don't care about the tactics aspect of Dragon Age and stuff like that. Like I've got companions, I set them up, and then I let them do their thing. I don't need to micromanage them. Yes, because tactic games to me, it's like it's for people who are micromanagers. Like, it's people. It's not even gaming anymore to me. It's like you're not doing anything. You're just like, it's like Command and Conquer and shit like that. It's like you're setting up shit to happen, and then the computer does everything for you, basically. Well, yeah, they were talking about like with Mass Effect, you could kind of see that intergalactic species choice thing to a certain degree, but with Dragon Age, you really don't necessarily get to see it. So they were thinking about like maybe possibly doing a Fire Emblem-esque style thing, and I guess people really liked it. Like, really liked that idea. And it's like, then they're also talking about what platforms they would bring it out on. And for me, if they want to do this, that's fine, but don't make it the next Dragon Age game. Like, make this something like this is for, you know, they had talked about PC and like mobile, you know, things, or, you know, something of that nature. That's fine, but don't make this what I'm going to be waiting the next year or two for is this, because I have no desire, you know, and they're like, oh, but the character building, the interactions, you know, that's what Dragon Age is, you know, big on too. And I'm like, yes. And even then, right now, I'm still a little upset with how that's gone, you know, but they're trying to bank now more on this character interaction and building. And I'm like, yeah, but if you're banking on this so hard, I feel like you're losing some of the fantasy combat, that thrill of the in the moment combat.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's been many times Dragon Age has been called like the spiritual successor to like Baldur's Gate and Champions of Norath and stuff. And it's a classic style RPG, but then like it's very heavy on character and interaction and very heavy on like building a team and like romance and stuff like that. And that is awesome aspects of it.
KOTOR style stuff,
And those are some of the best aspects of it. And when you take away, like, because like when you go to those tactic games, like you take away all the great cutscene stuff that happens in Dragon Age, and it just ends up focusing on like, you know, battling and shit, like in large scale battles, and that's never been a part of Dragon Age until the third game. Like there's the big battle with the Darkspawn and stuff, but it's not what the story is about in the first game. Like it's about the minutia of the characters and what's happening with the characters in that setting. It's not about these giant battles. It's about these characters and what happens to them because they're involved in these situations, not the battle itself. Like if you want to make a fucking game about war and shit, like that's one thing. Like Lord of the Rings has done that too. Like,
and that, like, there was Final Fantasy and then Final Fantasy Tactics, and that's fine. If you want to come out with a Dragon Age Tactics that it's its own thing, it's like a, you know, it's an added to it, but it's not the next chapter. Fine,
because like console-wise,
this is what I'm waiting for.
Because console-wise, like tactic games are even more boring on a console than it would be on like console. To me is like a PC game. Because and I don't give no fucks about PC games, obviously, but like it is set up to be a PC thing, and there are a huge amount of PC Dragon Age gamers, and that's fine. Make that game for them. But like if you port that out to the Xbox One and shit, nobody's gonna give a fuck about that. Like seriously, Tactics has always been a part of Dragon Age, but it's always been an option. You don't have to do tactics. It's like, here's an option for tactics if you want to do tactics. And the tactical systems, from everything I've heard, are very good. If you're into that. But, like, basing the entire game on that one aspect, it would be the equivalent to me of being like, okay, now we're going to do a game that's like a Telltale type game where there's not really any combat. It's just, like, all story. Like, yeah, some of us would find that fun. Like, I would enjoy that, obviously, but it's not a full game. It's not the same experience. It's not what you're wanting from that.
Especially when you go from what it was to this. It feels like I'm only getting part of the game. I'm not getting a full thing.
That would be like that if that resource gathering thing that they did in Mass Effect was just its whole, like, one game by itself. It's just like gathering resources is all you do.
Oh, driving around on the Mako.
Or like the one where it was just like, you know, send a probe to the planet. Send a probe to the planet.
If you literally gave me a Mass Effect game where it was drive the Mako and then resource the planet, I would blow my brains out.
I would blow my brains out. I would never play this game.
But I will say, like, I play a lot of like these like fun animated tower defense games on my phone. And if they made something for my phone that was like tactics and stuff, I would play it, but I would play it at my leisure. That's pretty much how I do it with this. But if you're like, oh, nope, this is the next, like, we're investing all of our time for this is the next Dragon Age chapter, I'm sitting here like, so as a fan, what did I do? I already feel like you guys kind of fucked me with, like, Inquisition as far as, like, being a 360 person. You know, I'm also a college student that doesn't necessarily have the money to drop to buy, a 1 and all that stuff.
Me either.
It's one of those days
I'm
where...
a poor artist.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I got fucked on that, where they're like, we'll give you 1 DLC, but then everything else is all 1 and PS4 only.
Like, then you shouldn't have made this game for the system then.
Yeah.
If you're not going to release the DLC for the games, then don't fucking make it for this system. That pisses me off.
Yeah, and then it's like, now this is the next thing. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting scolded as a fan.
Well, if you're not a PC gamer, then you're basically boned.
Yeah, or if you're not solely a tactics person, who you're boned. And I'm like, I love Witcher, and I love the fact that, like, to me, Dragon Age and Witcher feel very similar, in the style of play, and I can go back and forth and play them, and it just feels like, to
Dragon
me,
Age and Witcher and fucking Skyrim and shit, it's like all that kind of, like, that hack and slash RPG and, like...
with great story.
With good story,
like,
great
jam-packed story.
Like, Witcher and Dragon Age and Mass Effect and Skyrim, they cannot be beat for story.
Yeah.
And Skyrim is on the low end of that because it is less about story and more about going and exploring and shit. But, like, that's the thing BioWare is known for. They're known for depth of story.
Yeah.
And with Mass Effect and Dragon Age and the Knights of the Old Republic games and shit like that, all the Star Wars games, that is BioWare's bread and butter, is they are fucking story pimps.
I'll go back and play KOTOR and KOTOR 2 all day long. I love those games.
Like, I haven't played like 20 playthroughs of each Dragon Age game because I enjoy tactics.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking do it because the story is interesting and I want to see every aspect of the story. And that's the thing about it. Like, I love a good, like, mindless RPG game. Like, this week, both of us have been playing Diablo 3. And Diablo 3 is your classic...
giant dungeon crawl.
It's just a dungeon crawler game. And, like, it does not require any investment other than, like, I get to kill shit.
I put it on my guy. I get to see what kind of abilities he gets. And I just go kick shit out of large amounts.
And there is a story. And it's an interesting story. It's very cool. But it's not the focus.
Yeah. Like,
and Dragon Age and Mass Effect and all those, it's like the focus in text message. The focus is the story, and that's what's important about those universes. It's so rich in depth of story, and not only in the games, but Dragon Age and Mass Effect both, comic books, novels, all that shit, and it's all canon. It's all in there.
But for me personally, I feel like if I lose that, like, in the moment combat.
Then I stopped giving a shit.
It's really hard for me to care and stuff. Like, when I was younger, in my, PlayStation days and stuff like that, I love Final Fantasy. I love, Legends of Dragoon is still one of my favorite games and stuff, and those are very turn-based, like, and that's fine. I love them. They had a really great story and stuff like that, but I always wanted to play those in a very in-the-moment game, like, where I didn't want to have to, like, I was a bastard and would just sit there and, like, constantly try to speed tap the buttons so that they, like, would turn quicker, and it still would, like, fight me the whole time, and I'm just like, God damn it, just let me fight them.
Turn-based combat takes me out of the game so bad. Like, Final Fantasy, like, I'll give it credit even though I don't give a fuck about anime and I don't care about it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll give it credit for depth of story and cutscenes and all that shit. Like, it's got it. But, like, turn-based combat takes me out of the game completely. It's like, it's the least realistic aspect of any video game that you could possibly have, because this is not how combat actually fucking works. Like, you were not, if you and I are walking down the street and we get attacked by a fucking street gang, we're not gonna, like, take up positions on opposite sides of the street and then, like, take our turns and fucking attacking each other. That's not how that works.
Yeah. And then I'm sitting there like, oh, it's my turn to go, and they're like, no, it's that person, and then magically this other, like, there you go again and stuff like that, and it's basically my character dies because I wasn't able to, like, think 6 steps ahead and stuff, and I'm like, even when I LARP, I'm a very in the moment fighter.
It's like a chess game. If I want to fucking play chess, I'll play chess. I don't want to play a fucking video game that's chess.
Very instinctual fighter. Yes. So that's why it's like I react to things. So it's on a game front, things are very like. Oh,
it was a sad day in gaming town in the basement of Doom this week.
It was like, oh god, no.
But
you're killing me.
This week, this whole week is all about the build-up to our first huge show of the year, which is Lexington. And we always like to do every year a little preview show thing about what's going to be going on at Lexington and who we're excited about seeing and kind of the cool celebrities that are going to be there. And Lexington is always very big on their Power Rangers stuff. And this year they've been very big on Doctor Who as well. Yeah. So if you're a Whovian, you're going to be like busting mad nerd nuts all over the fucking place in Lexington, because not only is like Karen Gillian going to be there, who of course is Amy Pond from Doctor Who and Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy, but the 3 different Doctors are going to be there. The 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctors are all going to be
Peter
there.
Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, and I love Sylvester McCoy. And I actually am a big Colin Baker fan. Like one of the few Doctor Who's the old school ones that I've watched is the Colin Baker series, and like I actually like him quite a bit. He's really cool. Mm-hmm. But that's really exciting, and a lot of people are excited to see that. And there's a lot of like, if you're a Buffy fan, you're in like good shape
if you're like
too.
Whedon,
if you're a Whedon fan, because you've got fucking Elijah Dushku, Elijah Dushku.
Oh yeah.
Like I will be drooling somewhere near her booth at least at some point during the day. James Marsters, who of course is Spike.
For the girls, Spike.
Yeah, Spike for Buffy. And also one of the great, one of my favorite characters from Smallville is his version of Brainiac. Mm-hmm. And of course he did the voice of Lex in one of the cartoon movies too for Superman. So he's got some Superman connections in there for me. And also he's got, connections to a lot of horror stuff that I enjoy too. And other fantasy stuff. If you're a fan of Justified or Sons of Anarchy or The Shield, Walt Goggins is going to be there. I'm not a huge fan of any of those shows, but if I were to talk to this guy, I swear what I would ask him about is Major League 3, because that's the only thing I ever think about him being in. He's Downtown Anderson in Major League 3.
I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He's a good actor, great actor.
Because he's always a very like out there character, and his characters are always very like loud and very like memorable, usually assholes, but I love him for it.
He's an interesting looking person too. Like he's very like he's got distinct features, and like he's a very cool character actor, and I am a fan of his, just not for the things that most people are a fan of him for.
not those.
Yeah, not Anderson. The great and awesome Greg Grunberg is going to be there, who is Snap Wexley from of course Star Wars, and he's going to be in Star Trek Beyond as well, and most people would know him from Heroes. But I would of course ask him about Big Ass Spiders.
Love that one.
That's one of our favorites, and he's an awesome like tubby guy action hero in that movie, like crazy. So,
and I've been like, so did you grab Jennifer Love Hewitt's butt?
And he got to play. Yeah, he played Jennifer Love Hewitt's husband on Criminal Minds. And this, and she was on there. Of course, big nerd thing for me. There's going to be 2 great Star Trek people there. Brent Spiner and Denise Crosby, Data and Tasha Yar.
TNG, baby.
Holy shit, man. Like, to be in the presence of Brent Spiner, I might, like, do, like, the, nerd cry. Like, I'm afraid to talk to him. Like that's that level of nerd cry I might do. Henry Winkler's going to be there if you're a big Fonz fan. And, like, I actually like I like other things that Henry Winkler has done more. I always think of him in The Waterboy. It's one of my favorite things. And he did a great guest spot as himself on King of the Hill once that I was really a huge fan of. And I think he's a cool guy, and very, he's very popular amongst the older crowd, I'd say.
I'm always excited in that part of Little Nicky where they want to cover him in bees.
Cover Winkler in bees!
Oh, yeah.
If you're a wrestling fan, Lexington's always a great place, too, because they always bring the good wrestling guests, and this year's no exception, because Mick Foley is coming back for a second year in a row. And I'm actually this week on either Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember which one. I think it's Thursday. Yeah. Me and Not Dave and my brother-in-law Steven are going to see Mick Foley do his one-man comedy show live here in Columbus, which I am super jazzed about that. And Foley is known for his awesome stories and like his books. I've read all of his books, and they're all brilliantly written. And I'm super excited about that. I know you're not a huge Foley fan, but I like him as a person, and I like him as a writer and as a wrestler.
I'm excited about the wrestler they announced just recently.
Yes, Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, that's who I want to see, is Diamond Dallas Page. I love Diamond Dallas Page. Whether he's a heel or a babyface, I've always been Page.
If he would diamond cut you, would you let him? If you would bust a diamond cutter in the middle of the crowd, just bust you a diamond cutter, I would totally let him do it.
Yeah,
I would take that diamond cutter like straight up. He's gonna be there.
But first, he's got to let me say a diamond upside down is a pussy, then diamond cut me.
Can we talk to you about Ready to Rumble?
And not have you want to beat the shit.
No shit. Right?
Or I would talk to him about like when he was on the Shark Tank and how much assholes those guys
DDP
were.
Yoga, I'd love to talk to him about that, because like it is a thing that I've considered doing.
Make you do it. we go near him, I'm going to talk to him about it. And we're like, hey, my friend, DDP
like, here's
Yoga.
my big fat friend. Save him.
DDP Yoga.
I don't want him to die.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. The Louisville Slugger, Jim Cornette, my personal hero, is going to be there. And I will be super excited to see him again. Hopefully I can watch his panel and talk to him a little bit. I got a picture of him out of my mask last time. Hoping to get a mask picture this time.
Oh, you're going to try to go for the mask picture?
And not only is he going to be there, but the Rock and Roll Express are going to be there too, which is very cool. Like if you're an old school wrestling fan, and I always love the Rock and Rolls, so that's really cool. If you're a Power Rangers fan, boy, you are fucking set.
Yeah.
Because there's so many Power Rangers.
Oh, good God, yeah. Jason David Frank, David Yost. For me, I'm excited because Johnny Young Bosch is going to be there, which means I can get him to sign my Morpher, and then I will literally be one left. Amy Jo Johnson. Karen Ashley's
going to be there. Steve Cardenas, Kat Sutherland.
Yep.
If you're, so there's more Power Rangers down here somewhere.
There's a ton of them. There's,
Jason Font, Dan Southworth, Deborah Phillips, Aaron Cahill. Good God, man. Kevin Kleinberg, Michael Copon, then Mike Hollander of VR Troopers.
J.B. Reese.
Yeah. Let's see. I think there's some more Power Rangers stuff down at the bottom here. We're scrolling through to make sure we get all of them. Yeah. Amy Roll, who's Trakina in the Lost Galaxy season. Reggie Roll, who is the Green Ranger on Lost Galaxy. Paul Scheer, Jason Narvi, of course, Bulk and Skull.
This one's interesting. It's Gabrielle Fitzpatrick who played Dulcina in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. She was the Amazon-esque type character in the on the Alien Planet.
Ciara Hanna, who's on the Yellow Ranger in the Megaforce season. Let's see. Carla Perez, who was Rita Repulsa.
Yep.
In the Turbo, and then also the voice of Rita, Barbara Goodson, and Alpha 5, Sandy Sellner, are all going to be there. So that's all your massive Mighty Morphin Power Ranger.
So if you're a Power Ranger fan, which we all know I am,
yes,
I'm geeking hard.
If you're comic book geeks like us and podcasters, this is kind of like a treat one for me. Ming Chen and Mike Zapsik from Comic Book Men are going to be there, which I really would love to meet these guys because they do kind of what we do, like on a bigger scale, obviously, and of course they're friends with Kevin, so I need to be close to them. I
just want to ask Ming, dude, how many times a day do you think about just backhanding the shit out of Walt?
Walt Flanagan, Mike especially, because Mike is probably the guy on Comic Book Man I always connect with the most, other than Kevin.
For me, it's Brian.
Yeah, of course, and it should be, except for Brian is not nearly the comic book fan that we are. He's just kind of the guy who likes to sit there and talk shit.
Yeah.
If you love the '80s, boy, you're in for a treat too, because not only is Tawny Katane going to be there, and I was so threatening to do a David Coverdale cosplay.
Yeah.
But Tiffany is going to be there.
Tiffany is going to be there, and the chick who did the voice for Jem.
Yes, Tiffany
from the '80s.
Tiffany, and my heart's all aflutter.
Oh yeah.
I still think she's hotter than hot. Even
she is still hotter than hot.
Yes, I'm super, super pumped about Tiffany.
I just want to see you get up on the hood of the car and do the Tawny Katane pose.
Here I go again on my own.
Yeah.
If you're into Attack on Titan, a couple of the voice actors from Attack on Titan are going to be there. Bryce Papenbrook and Trina Nishimura.
Yeah.
If you're into Z Nation, which I do enjoy Z Nation quite a bit, Doc, Warren, and Murphy are all going to be there. Russell Hodgkinson, Kalita Smith, and Keith Allen are going to be there.
Yep.
I'm definitely a fan of Z Nation. I'm not caught up on it, but I do enjoy it. It was a nice break. If you're into zombies and you've been watching Walking Dead and you're just all blown the fuck out, watch Z Nation because it's so much more fun to watch. It doesn't require the fucking emotional investment and shit that Walking Dead does. If you're a fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Kevin McNally, who's Mr. Gibbs in all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, he's going to be there.
He is hilarious in those movies.
He is, and he's of course an accomplished character actor too, who's been in so many things that I can't even count. Awesome stuff. If you're a Star Wars person, there's some Star Wars stuff there going on. Mm-hmm. One of the X-Wing pilots from Empire Strikes Back is going to be there. Richard Oldfield, Mark Dodson, who's the voice of Salacious Crumb. If you like Pee Wee Herman, Zombie is going to be there.
Zombie, the genie.
Mecha Lecca, I don't give a shit. But
your creepy blue head, you.
With your creepy blue head, yes, I don't give
shit out of me.
No fucks about none of that. There's apparently going to be some sort of magician there. Reed and Ashton Masterson, Impossible Magic. That's not really a thing that I'm into, but it could be interesting if they're doing a show or something.
Yep.
Let's see. Jeremy Palco, who's been on The Walking Dead and Sleepy Hollow and Vampire Diaries, is going to be there. And then there's a lot of cosplayers that are going to be there again. Yaya Han is a big thing. Like, we're not necessarily huge fans ourselves. Like, I respect what she's done for the genre of cosplay very much, and she's very much out there about getting people out there and getting people into cosplay. She's the mainstream of cosplay.
Yeah.
Jessica Negri is going to be there. She's a voice actress and a cosplayer. She's kind of known for her very like more sexually charged cosplay sort of thing, I would say. Yeah. She's going to be there. Anna Mia, which we're both big fans of, is going to be there. Kristen Huey, who is also a cosplayer, is going to be there. If you're a trucker, I actually should have mentioned this during the Star Trek thing, but I always forget that this is actually one and the same person. But Adrienne Wilkinson is going to be there. Now, a lot of people might remember her from Xena. She was Xena's daughter. Yep. But she's actually Captain Lexa Singh in Star Trek Renegades, which is the new, the produced Star Trek TV movie they were going for a pilot and it didn't happen, and so it's going to be a web series now. And I watched it and I loved it.
Yeah, she does a really good job.
She's badass, and she's been in a lot of other things as well too. She's done a lot of voice acting and stuff. But I'm actually kind of excited to meet her as well. If you're into Teen Wolf, one of the people from Teen Wolf is going to be there. Cody Sanguine? Sanguine? I don't know.
Brett Talbot.
I'm not good for pronouncing things. The West Virginia Batman, John Buckland, is going to be there. He's quite known for his Batman cosplay. Mm-hmm. The voice of Jem, you mentioned that one. And then also a life-size Rancor, which is very cool. And the Impala from Supernatural, one of the Impalas, which I definitely need a picture with.
Get pictures with the Impala.
And then not only all those great like media guests, but there's also going to be some awesome comic guests as well. A couple people that we know. Todd Beisel is going to be there at the booth for the publisher that does horror show. He's going to be there. Of course, our friend Sean Forney is going to be there. Yep. All of our buddies at Roma Collectibles, Merry Mercenary Cosplay, they're going to be there as well. Not only that, but some really just legendary names in comics. Neil Adams, which like his Batman is the quintessential Batman that I remember from my youth. Yeah. Like, he's the guy responsible for the Green Lantern, Green Arrow of the Silver Age that was just so good. Scotty Young of Marvel is going to be there. Mike Grell, who's known for Green Arrow, known for so much. Mm-hmm. Denny O'Neil, Batman legend. Yeah, like I don't even know if I could talk to him. Bob Layton, who's very well known for stuff in Valiant and Iron Man. The co-creator of the New Mutants, Bob McLeod. Matt Hawkins from Top Cod, and this is a big one for you, Ben Templesmith. Yes. Who's, of course, the artist of 30 Days of Night and Squitter and, so many things.
Yeah, there's so many things that I'm just like, I love your artwork. Such a you know instantaneously if you're looking at something Ben Templesmith. You can't mistake it for anything else.
So that one's a big level of excitement. One of the designers from King of the Hill, Joel Adams, is going to be there. Spider-Gwen artist Rico Renzi, Jim Maffiwood, who's the illustrator of Kevin Smith's Clerk comics and a lot of other cool animation stuff. Let's see. A lot of artists that I'm not familiar with, but I hope to get familiar with. Mark Kidwell, who I've met quite a few times. He's the creator of the 68 zombie comic, and then he's also done covers for a lot of comics that I'm familiar with, and I've done a few cons with him. Actually, he's very cool, and I actually have one of his prints over there. The Cthulhu that's right above my desk is a Mark Kidwell print, and so I'm a big fan of his style of artwork. And there's so many cool people.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay,
it's your buddy. It's your favorite.
I've calmed my hatred of Daryl Banks. Okay, I have, because I've finally grown to the point where I don't hate him as much as I used to anymore, because I understand more as an adult what happened. But of course, I'm not going to talk about Daryl Banks. We've all talked about it before.
Buzz Off.
Yes.
For JSA and
JSA artist, which I'm like, woo, so excited. It's just there's so many cool creators that are going to be there. Stuart Sager, who we're a huge fan of. We have many Stuart Sager prints down here, and his artwork again is another thing that's extremely like when you see it, you're like, yeah, that's Stuart Sager.
Yeah, that's Sagers.
He's done stuff for Machete. He's done stuff for 30 Days of Night, Death Ship. He did the Krampus comic based on the movie, and the Trick or Treat series based on the Trick or Treat movie. Gavin Smith, who did Human City and a couple other ones that we actually like too, and I'm kind of looking forward to talking to him again. Very cool. Billy Tackett, who is the splatter master, who's done like a lot. He does a really cool zombie prints and interesting zombie work too. So many like awesome people that are going to be there, and like it's such a I don't know. I get so psyched every year when Lexington comes around because it's such a big show. It gets bigger every year.
But they also keep the staple stuff. Like there's also going to be lots of toys being sold, lots of comics, like long boxes for us to look through. Yeah. Like, you know, it's not just all media. Yeah. They keep the good stuff of what you really like going there for, which is not just like signatures, but like, you know, good comics and like, you know, fucking nostalgia toys and shit.
Yeah, and there's going to be gaming there. Like, there's not a lot of detail on that, but we saw some of that. They have the nerd dating, the speed dating every year, which we always tease. I always tease you about doing it. And then last year we were teasing the Basement Babe Hardo. Like, oh, you should go sign up for that geek day because they're always looking for chicks. Like, this is what cracks me up. I've seen this every time, and I hate to disparage, but like every time it's like 9,000 dudes and 3 chicks sign up for this thing, and it's hilarious. So that looks.
That's why I don't want to sign up for it, because I don't want to be looking across at this chick who's just like, oh my god. They'd be like, I'm sorry, hon. Like,
come on, buddy.
Like, which one of your friends hate you enough to like make you do this? Like,
oh, your friends don't like.
Do you want to go? Like,
I'm sure it's fun. Like,
I'm sure it is too.
But of course, it's going to be at the convention center connected to Rupp Arena. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're lucky enough to get press credentials this year, so we'll be there for the first time ever on Friday night. And
we're doing a different hotel.
Yes, and we're not staying in Rape Alley this year.
Oh, sorry, kids, for all of you that were like looking forward to hear about Rape Alley this year.
We're staying in a nicer hotel. It's a little further away from the venue. I think it's about 10 or 15 minutes away. But it's a much swankier hotel, and we had to change actually because we had a hotel booked and there were going to be more of us going originally, and unfortunately the Basement Babe's work likes to fuck her out of going everywhere, so she can't go.
Oh, you want to have a life? Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
You gotta work.
She's like a freaking doctor on call, except for she works in a freaking
and it's always shitty too because they're like, she shows up and they're like, oh yeah, we only really need you to work like 3 hours too, and she's like.
Poor Vicky. She's been fucked out of going to so many shows because of this, and I know this one was a devastating one for her because I know she wanted to go so badly, and we were very bummed out about it. But
so we take lots of pictures and be smiling for you, so it'll be okay.
We ended up having to book a different hotel.
Oh man, I know she would have loved that picture with that giant rancor.
Yeah, I know. Because she took one with the poo back before in Cincy.
You have to take pictures with the poo back.
They retired the poo back. I think there's a new one now. Like it's a updated one. Yeah.
Well, ain't no rancor, but whatever.
We had to rebook the hotel, and I was looking for a nice hotel, and I was like looking through, and there was this really great hotel and a really good price because I use Hotels.com and I use it a lot, so I get like the secret prices and shit. And you were upstairs like working on homework or something, and I was like, hey. How many beds do we need to have? Like, is it necessary for us to have multiple beds? And you're like, what now?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, this room is really nice. The price is good, but all they have is like king-size bedrooms. And you're like, I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
So, yeah, we will be sharing a bed.
I was like, it's a king size. Like,
I imagine, like we've said this, like I imagine, like if you were to take a top view picture of how we'll be sleeping, it'll be like Dave is on the one extreme side, hugged up to the side, and I'm on the other extreme side, and there's like 6 feet of room between us.
That's because I'm an edge sleeper. I like to like leave like my arm kind of hanging off or something like that. You know, it's like I very much am that type of person. So. Yeah, I've tried sleeping in the middle of the bed, like big ass bed, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little uncomfortable. It's weird.
But the hotel looks very swanky. There's a nice indoor pool and a spa and a hot tub. A hot tub. Okay, here's the thing about booking a hotel for Lexington. A hot tub is a necessity. Because there's so much walking. And then in previous years, the wheelchair, which this is a thing that's coming up now, is like I'm very nervous, especially because it's a 3-day thing that I don't think I can physically do.
Well, we're going to take it. We're going to take it.
So we were talking about busting the wheelchair out. And like in a way, it's like, yeah, I feel like I do need it. And then the other way, it feels like I feel defeated by having to use it again. But like, unfortunately, in the last few months, my knees and my back have gotten progressively worse. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge, huge event. Plus, the way they treated us when we had the wheelchair was really great.
Yeah, like really nice.
Like they let you in front of everything, and they let you in first. And, but
no, I would say like,
I know but the thing is, like, I feel bad because it's hard on you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got my knee braces, so I'll pack those.
We got to pull it out. It's like buried in your room.
Buried in my room. Well, that's cool. We'll get it out this week.
Yeah,
and like take it out, lube it up.
Lube it, get it all luby and right now. But no, I think like, it'll be like I think Friday night for sure I'm gonna walk it.
Yeah.
Saturday probably need the chair.
Probably need the chair.
But Friday I'm gonna walk.
And then Sunday
just depends on what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited about it because like we've never got to go all 3 days before.
Yeah.
Because like work schedules and all that stuff. But now that like this
showing up at like really ass cracked late at night Friday.
Yeah, that's nice too. We don't have to fucking drive all night and shit. Like this time we're gonna leave early in the day on Friday and we can pick up our tickets at 2 and get in our hotel and all that. And it's gonna be a much more relaxed trip this time because we always feel like we're in a rush because of when we have to go down there and stuff. And so this time we're gonna be able to relax and take it all in, the full experience of it.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited about that.
It's gonna be great.
And there's also supposed to be Friday night a screening of Dudes and Dragons, which is Marster's new movie.
Uh-huh.
And a Q&A afterwards.
Yeah, that also has I can't remember his name, but one of the main characters from the Mythica series, which I'm becoming a hugely fast fan of.
Yes.
So
super excited, and we're going to be there from Friday to Sunday, and then we'll be back on Sunday. Going home on Sunday, which will be a super fun drive. It's always a fun one on the way home.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll have to try to retain as much energy as possible because last time I literally slept the entire way home.
You did.
Like Sunday came and I'm like, I physically have no ability to drive anymore. And it wasn't even that. Like we were sitting there Sunday in a panel and I was falling asleep. I was so freaking tired.
Yeah.
So
we're like out of it.
Hopefully I don't repeat that performance.
That's all right. I mean, I can drive back and I'll have energy drinks. That's the main thing.
Yeah, we'll be mainlining kickstarts and shit. Yeah. But it's going to be exciting. We'll expect probably at least a 2-parter show.
Oh yeah.
Like because Lexington, we always have a ton to talk about, and I'm sure like Friday night we'll have stuff to talk about, and then Saturday too. And so I'm excited about that. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up this week, and we're going to spend this entire week prepping and packing and ready to go by Friday morning.
Yep. I got a small adventure to Cincinnati for some LARP stuff, and then I'll be back. And we get to watch the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, which I'm very excited about.
Tonight, yeah. So that'll be fun, the shows. But yeah, should be a good week, and then we'll hopefully do some vlogs and have some fun things to debut.
Yes.
And
or do you want to tell them what you're debuting?
No, we're not telling.
Are you going to tell them? Oh, come on, tell them. They want it now.
Fuckers.
Tell them.
All right, we're probably going to be debuting my new mask.
Yes, not only that, but those of you who are a huge fan of the Funko Mini version of me that we did, we're going to be debuting Dave's Funko Mini version as well.
Yes.
Dave's going to be also debuting his brand new haircut.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a little frisky with the shaver. I decided to shave my head.
My first reaction is, now you don't match your figure.
No, but I'll have that hairdo in probably like 3 weeks. Yeah, my hair won't grow back that fast. So it'll be
But if you're going to be at Lexington, I know a few of our friends are already, they're going to be. If you're going to be there, let us know, and we'll, try to say hi to everybody if we can. If you see us roaming around and you're a fan of the show, just stop and talk to us.
Yep.
I'll be spreading business cards everywhere.
Be like dollars and G-strings.
Yes.
Like, what a card.
They're making it rain with business cards. Like. But that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Basement Fodder. Live, as always, from the Basement of Doom. I'm Todd.
I'm Dave.
And until next week, The basement door is closed.
Later, bitches.
You're listening to a Basement of Doom production. To find out more about Basement of Doom Productions, check out thebasementofdoom.wordpress.com and digitalnerdage.com.